Hey, my name is Sean. Welcome to Echoes in Eternity Bourbon. Have you ever just spent time with a legend?
They're small ships. They're wooden ships. They sink. The best ships are French ships. It's to those ships we should drink. Yeah? Hi.
So, last week I had the most amazing time. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Nate Kastner. Nate is in our, and I say our, I'm not a founder or anything like that, but he's in a local group, East Alabama, West Georgia Bourbon. And he was fortunate enough to win one of the quarterly draws at Buffalo Trace, where, he was actually selected for a Buffalo Trace barrel. And when that occurs, and it's probably like a once in a lifetime thing, you have the opportunity to buy a whole barrel. I was fortunate enough to be a part of that pick team last week. He was there with his father and a few of us from the group. And so eternally thankful for that, Nate. Thank you very, very much for that. Coolest part about that is not only the time that we got to spend together. Some of the people went up there and spent the whole weekend, and they got to go to a bunch of different distilleries. One person in particular spent a lot of time at a gift shop. It was a lot of fun, though. A lot of fun. But when we got to go to the tour, we got Freddie. If you know anything about, Buffalo Trace and kind of tradition and lineage, Freddie Johnson family, it's third generation that's been out there. And it was a great, in such an informative experience. You think that you know some things sometimes, but then you just meet someone that brings so much extra knowledge and history behind something that it's fantastic. But what I'd like to share first is I'd like you to kind of see some of the tour that we had with Freddie, see some of the Buffalo Trace stuff, and then I'll talk a little bit more on the backside. But see you on the backside, and I hope you enjoy the tour of Buffalo Trace. He's gonna go in and ask. That's where we're headed.
I'm missing the video.
No, I'm gonna. You won't hear the voices in here, anyways, unless Freddie's talking.
It's either, it could be either way. I know the top hat's over there, the hard hat's over there, but they each share with one of them too, yeah. Did they tell you with your little black wristbands that you get 20% off anything in the store other than liquor?
We'll talk about that. So we get them over by the fermenter, just to lose them, Can't float in the fermenter, cannot float in the fermenter. All right, so Bradley. Cool. Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
I think we just met. And Nathan. We have two Nathans, right?
We do.
Tyler. Sean.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. And Josh. Cool beans. So, Buffalo Trace is our pick.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, how many have done the barrel selection before? So, we've got some professionals. All right.
I wouldn't say that.
All right, so,
Those two.
Professional drinkers.
so which one did you do before?
We've done a few. We've done a couple Jack Daniels. We've done a Blue Note. We've done a Four Roses. We've done a Nulu, Double Oak Weeded. We've done a Elijah Creek Barrel Proof.
Done a couple of short barrels on my end.
Yeah, short barrels.
Some Westwards.
American Single Malt. A couple of Rye.
Yeah. We've done a few.
We've done a few.
Professionals.
No, but we've never been. We've never been a
More so than most.
Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And the reason I asked the question is that so have you visited other distilleries?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool.
I was here in August.
All right.
We did a tour here in August.
So did you walk about or
We did a walkabout with Bob M or something like that. Bob Barrels.
well, that's Bob. So there's Bob Gates.
There's two Bobs, isn't there?
Yeah, Bob Durham and Bob Gates.
I don't remember.
Doesn't matter.
Older fella.
Well,
Oh.
that's kind of hard. You either got older or a lot younger. Yeah. So what I want you to do is you can take over the picture. There's them. Surrounding you on this property. You see, this is yesterday, a little bit of today, and this is the most recent warehouses that we built on property. We've tapped out here, so they just purchased another 400 acres of land. And these warehouses, Kentucky has a limit on the size of your warehouses, so they cannot be any larger than 58,800 barrels. So for us, we're cranking out about 2,000 barrels of whiskey a day.
Oh, wow.
So it takes roughly 3.5 to 4 months to build one of these and then to fill it with those barrels. So by the time we construct one, by the time we get this one constructed, we were already putting whiskey in the one that was previous to it. So we've got about 1.5 million barrels of whiskey around you right now.
Wow.
So there's enough whiskey around you that if they stop making today, we could continue to bottle at our present rate for about the next 20 years before we ran out. So I have to make it official on behalf of Buffalo Trace. I would like to personally welcome you to the oldest continually operated distillery in the United States. Kind of cool?
Absolutely.
So of the top 5 whiskeys in the world, 3 of them are right here at Buffalo Trace on a regular basis. Kind of cool?
Absolutely.
So we'll play around. We'll play around in this area. And since y'all been bouncing around, let me show you this. This is what, to me, it's fascinating. So I started playing around here when I was like 5 years old. These old distilleries, Buffalo Trace sits in what we call its district number 7. So at one point in history, there were over 2,000 families. The government was having a nightmare trying to keep up with all these different distilleries, which is what's going on today. So a lot of people are sourcing and doing a lot of other stuff. So when you look, you see a lot of number 1s, but you look across, they're in different parts of Kentucky. So district number 7, within it resides Woodford, Castleman Key, Glen Street Distillery, Wild Turkey, Four Roses, Old Granddad. We're all up here in district number 7. Within district number 7, our DSP number is 113. So you come down here, it tells you the original name of our distillery, which is what Taylor gave it, was OFC, which stood for Old Fire Copper. Permit was issued in 1786. The significance of the date, this distillery that you're visiting has never missed a year of making whiskey legally since 1786.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So even though it's prohibition, we were still making it for medicinal purposes. But that's how you're going to find out who makes your hooch. Now your heads up is this reason I was asking if you've been to other distilleries. Like if you go to Bullet and ask them what their DSP number is, it's either a 4 or a 5-digit number. So your heads up is if I see a 1, 2, or 3-digit number, that's an oldie but goldie.
Okay.
When you see a 4 or a 5-digit number, that is a brand new distillery coming online. Cool?
That is awesome.
Yep. So Bullet was getting their bourbon from Four Roses, and they were getting their straight rye from the MGP plant in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. So the MGP. So now we see this. So here's the next piece of this. So I have people look at this and they start drooling and stuff. But the point is, I want you to think about this as we take this journey. You hear people talking about, people get into these fierce debates about who makes the best bourbon, who makes the best whiskey. And right here within our group, I said, well, you know, which bourbon you think is the best bourbon? We'd all probably have different answers. So if I think about it, proof and price, first off, are never indications of age or of quality. It's just percent alcohol in the bottle and how much you're gonna pay for it. All right, so we move that out. All right, so some people think that age, the older it is, the better it is. But we know some of it tastes like chewing on a piece of oak bark or something.
Yeah.
All right, so, but for some, they love it. They love that woody, oaky kind of a flavor. Some think that it's the proof of the whiskey. Some think age, some think rye, some think wheat, some think 4 grains. All this crazy stuff. But when you start looking at it at the end of the day, the best bourbon is just the one that you like. So here's where what you're doing comes into play. So if the best bourbon is the one that you like, more than likely you came to that conclusion because you had some of it in you. That's how you get there. So your expectation is when you go back to the store and get another bottle of that, you expect it to taste like the one you had before. The crazy part about the food and beverage industry is if you stumble upon something you like, your mind makes a mental imprint of the taste profile. So it's not about which distillery makes the best bourbon. It's about that distillery's ability to be consistent with the flavors of the products that they make. But the smell is not beer. It's not an fermented beer smell. So obviously something else is going on. So there's so much mash fermenting in there that if we didn't have a ventilation, it's called a negative ventilation system, we're actually pulling that CO2 gas out of this area, which allows us to walk all around this, even downstairs around the base of it. Thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate that. So the pecking order. Do you know the process? Drinking and having fun, you begin to see certain qualities.
Yeah. And you find out you're in Bardstown, everything's pretty.
So here's what I like
Bardstown
to do,
10.
which goes along with what you just, your observation here. I like to do this. Now, if you do this, because you get the light to shine on it, and you can see, I look at it in A and C.
Darker.
See that? See the different
Yeah.
coloration? And that's usually indicative. Good job. That does it.
Sorry.
No. Which one is it? We're going to D?
D, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is dead. Good job. That's good.
Can I use this drill?
Here's the problem. I think only able to see.
Well, you'll find out in the blind, won't
Maybe
you?
I won't. Maybe I don't. Find out.
Or maybe you don't, that's right.
Maybe your mind is, I'm Jedi mind tricked yourself. Love that bourbon fats out there like that.
Yep.
It says Sazerac Barrel Select. Got him.
They're both really good.
Ready? Yeah, they were.
You left the island.
Good job. Good
There you
job.
go.
All right.
You just don't know it yet. It's not there.
Yeah. See what we got. All right.
Do it.
Rock 'em
So
all.
what we
All
got?
right.
Got it. There you go.
Good job. All right.
We got blessed with having Freddie today. Absolute blessing. I remember now this has been here for over 200 plus years too, this area. looking back, I can't say enough good things about the people that I got to hang out with that day and the experience of dealing with and being a part of a pick with Freddie. Freddie actually was part of the pick with us. We had one gentleman with us. He doesn't drink, but Freddie was a part of the pick with us, which is so very cool. And I can't wait for this to come out locally. It's going to be at Barrels and Bottles in Columbus, Georgia. Eventually, it'll release there. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting some bottles for myself, giving away some stuff on the channel. But of course, having it, the experience was the most important part. The things that you learn from people sometimes are not just the knowledge of how things are done and how things are made, but the life experience behind it. And that was the thing that was, I think, the most interesting and most incredible part of the whole journey was that, for those that do or don't know, Freddie had been working in the Atlanta area for AT&T for years, but he made his father a promise. And that promise is that eventually he would come back and work at Buffalo Trace. It was important for his father to have that third generation work there. And, for Freddie, it was important that he kept his promise on that. So when his father's health started to fail, he left the job that he had been at for decades and came back to Buffalo Trace to pick up kind of that family tradition. And it is such a neat experience. So much knowledge, 3 generations passed through there, but such a humble person that you learn stuff from. And, there's a lot of history behind Buffalo Trace, good and bad. But, it's history, and it's important to understand the history behind things and how we got to where we're at from then to today. And Freddie is such an amazing ambassador for that. So kudos to Freddie, and he had talked about the importance of living up to promises, and that was something that was important to him and his father. Amazing time. If you are ever in the area, I suggest that you go on a tour there, check them out. And if you ever get Freddie, you are in for an exceptional treat. I know this video is going to be a little bit long because I wanted to show you a lot of stuff. I know the tour we got with Freddie was a bit different than most of the other tours out there, because he brought us and explained things to us in only a way that he could. And we got to see some really unique and impressive things. Look, we all work. We all go fast through life in a lot of ways, but we need to kind of take some time for ourselves sometimes. Look, if you're working today, I hope your work day goes by fast. I hope you're successful in everything you do. I hope you bring great energy to your teams, and I hope they bring it right back to you. But when you get that off time, do something for yourself. Recharge. Find a way to, read something new, watch something new, set up a trip or plan something with friends, even if it's just sitting down having a pour at the end of the day, because you need to take care of yourself so you can take care of the people that matter the most in your life. So recharge yourself so you can then recharge other people in the same way. Look, I hope you all have an amazing day. I hope you enjoyed some of this video from an amazing tour with friends and just an icon in the bourbon society in Freddie Johnson. Y'all have an amazing day. Cheers and God bless.